Hello, my name is Maria Bezubova and you're at my channel Fertilizers Jazz. Here we talk about events, trends, technologies in the world of fertilizers and agriculture. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and let's jazz. Today I would like to discuss the topic which draws more and more attention from fertilizers buyers across the globe and is related to shipping. It is break bulk shipping. In order to understand what is break bulk shipping, how it works for fertilizer specifically, what are pros and cons of such shipping option, I am happy to host a cool guest, Alexandros Psarianos, Managing Director at Agora Shipbroking Corporation. I'm very glad to welcome you, Alexandros, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you too. It's a great opportunity being with you and having a nice discussion.
Alexandros, today I would like to discuss with you the topic which is very hot in the fertilizers world now, and it is break bulk shipping. First of all, let's start with the basics. Can you please explain in details what is break bulk shipping at all?
Yes, let's say the differentiation between bulk and break bulk is smaller shipments usually of big bags, jumbo bags, bulk cargo. Sometimes also bulk cargoes in parcels, small parcels as part cargoes. They are also part of the break bulk industry, let's say. This is the definition.
As far as I understand, break bulk shipment type existed always. So like from the very beginning of maritime shipment, this was the way how the goods were shipped. Then somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere in mid-50s of the last century, another type of shipment was started, and it was container shipment. So if we compare these two options of shipment, containers versus break bulk, what are, let's say, pros and what are the cons of break bulk versus container?
Yes, of course. In the containerized shipping, it was a breakthrough in international transportation. There is a small variation, though. They serve bigger ports or specific ports, so we don't have the easiness. Let's say we don't have the availability to export cargoes via smaller places or not so famous places, let's say. So we can combine cargoes on a break bulk vessel, a multi-purpose or a bulker loaded with a few different grades in order to do it. So if there is a factory with their own private berth, we can berth a ship, we can approach with a ship and load a smaller cargo, which is not possible with containerized shipments. You have to transport the cargo to a port serving containers or make and to close the gap between the container port and the actual loading place. That's the difference mainly.
I see. Okay, that's indeed a very important point, that you can ship from anywhere actually in the world with this type of shipment.
Exactly, yes.
And you don't have this type of limitations. And what are still this option also has perhaps its own limitations. Can you name a couple of limitations in this respect?
Sure. Yes, there is no perfect in this world, of course. And let's say there is the following. When the freight rates in containers are very low, which for some extended periods of time they are low, then it is more economical to load in containers. While when the freight rates are up, like these days, we experience a difficulty in the Red Sea area. So because of the Red Sea conflicts and Middle East conflicts, freight rates of containers are very high, and suddenly we see more cargoes from the containerized shipping to enter the break bulk shipping. This is the difference, the economic impact of the freight rates. So depending on the market, then we do its case, yes. Everything is
Okay.
affected.
I see. Thank you. And can you please explain in more details how break bulk works specifically for bag products and for bulk products? So how physically you can place, for example, bulk products in the same hedge, how it works?
For sure. Let's say if we take a general idea, which is the bulk cargoes, and we don't specialize, let's say, on the fertilizers world, there are many cases that in the same hold, you can put two different grades. This is connected to the type of the ship. Some ships, they have movable bulkheads. A bulkhead is the wall that is separating a hold, a cargo hold. So you can move the hold, the blade, the bulkhead. So in one hold to create two different sub-holds, let's say, so two different smaller holds. In this way, one hold is not coming in contact, one cargo is not coming in contact with the other hold, with the other cargo. There is also some other type of consolidation of cargoes, let's say in the minerals world. Minerals, they're quite heavy, quite dense. The storage factor is quite low, so they don't take a lot of space. You can put a cargo of minerals. We have seen in big shipments from China to put steel plates, weld steel plates on the cargo by creating a metal barrier. And then you continue with a second grade or a third grade. We have seen this happening because we have some minerals in very specialized grades. On the other side, on the fertilizers are more vulnerable, they are more sensitive, so we don't follow this strategy so oftenly. We use bulkheads to separate the grades or some other type on multi-purpose vessels, not in bulk carriers. You can put one grade on the tank top, on a twin decker, on a multi-purpose vessel. We have different floors, let's say, to make it more easily understandable. So you have the lower floor, we call it tank top, and you have the twin decker. So on the tank top, you can put bulk cargo without any issue, and then continue on the next floor. On the next floor, usually we put cargoes which are in big bags, which are general cargo, as we call them. So in this way, you can do it. There's no.
I see. And are there any limitations in terms of products that can be co-shipped, if we talk about fertilizer specifically? So can you take any product and co-ship, or there are certain exceptions?
So if the cargo is in big bags, it is in units, let's say in small units, then there's no limitation at all. You can have a cargo of, let's say, urea in bags. On the other side, you can have maybe, for instance, cement in big bags. You can load them on the same hold next to the other, no problem at all. Usually, considerations starting to build up when we have bulkers and cargoes in big bags. This is the most tricky thing, let's say. And usually we avoid commingling these two cargoes together. But it's different. We have seen markets like consolidation of cargoes from China in very big ships that they're trying to save space, they're trying to make a more economical transportation, and we have seen various inventive, let's say, methods. We have to keep in mind, if it is big bags, there is no problem at all. We can do it.
I see. Okay, thank you. And what about vessels? Are these vessels that are usually used for break bulk shipments, are they general vessels? Like, I mean, any vessel can be used, or there are certain, special vessels that are being used? And also in terms of size, which size of this vessel usually is used?
I will tell you, usually it is very connected to the distance, the loading, the final destination. If it is a short sea shipping, like within Europe, within Mediterranean, within Black Sea, Baltic, etc. Small distances, let's say, short sea shipping, as we say. Usually we use small coasters because it is very unusual to have 2-3 cargoes from the same port and cargoes of different nature, let's say. If it is so, if you have a small vessel, a 3 or 5 or 10,000 tonner to stop in many ports, all this delay usually is not very welcoming. The traders, they want to avoid this kind of delays and mixing with various ports. And because usually a ship might face a problem when it's in a port. This is the most, let's say, and if you observe the statistics from the insurance companies, always the high risk is when you enter or when you exit a port. So if we go to ocean transportation, transcontinental, let's say, transportation, then the vessels grow bigger. We go to 12,000, 20,000, handy size, and so on. And then you can have operate consolidating cargoes. So they provide break bulk shipping. So you can have maybe 10,000 tons of steels, 2 grades of fertilizers, some other cargo, some coal, whatever. And they use the physical separation of the cargo holds. So you have a handy with 5 holds or a Supra with 5 holds, and you separate the different grades and you move on. This is also a type of break bulk shipment. Maybe it's worth mentioning that break bulk is also for, let's say, the word itself is when you break, when you separate something. That's why we say break bulk. So you have separate shipments that you can try, then you put them together to be transported. It is, let's say, the most peculiar type of break bulk is in Panamaxes, which is something that many people don't know about it. Panamaxes loaded from China, usually direction to Europe. This is a usual trade because the cargo is delivered, the vessels are delivered in China without so much cargoes to leave from China. This is the whole thing. So they get cargo, they put the consolidate cargoes from China going back to the Atlantic, which is called backhaul. In backhaul, we say front haul and backhaul. This is what we use in shipping.
I see. Thank you. And coming back to the question of limitations, let's say, of break bulk shipment, what is, let me put it this way, is there a minimal volume that can be taken for break bulk or not? And if it is, what is that volume?
I will tell you, yes, let's say we could say 2.5 or 3,000 tons. But always it is in comparison to the containers. Sorry, we had a line. It's in comparison to the freight rates from containers. This is always, nowadays, it is always the measure and the comparison. So, as I explained earlier, if let's say it is 3,000 tons, of course, there is also another limitation apart from the freight. It is how fast the cargo will arrive, because usually containerized shipments are faster. If the client wants to accept the cargo all in one go, or they want to, they don't care. They just, if they receive 500 tons a week over 2 months, it's fine. So they can accept the cargo in a slower pace, let's say. This is the other limitation. I know cases that the traders, they used to work with containers. There was a disruption in receiving the cargoes because, for instance, now Red Sea is a problematic area. All the container ships diverted via Africa, and this created a gap of 30 days on the in receipt of cargoes. To cover this gap, they said, "Oh, now in containers we have to do urgently one cargo. We have to find a ship to pass Red Sea and continue receiving." This is the whole thing.
I see. I see. Okay. Thank you very much. Coming back to the question of the cost, you mentioned that it's always about the comparison. Can you please explain how the cost is formed for break bulk and how it compares today? Let's say we're in today. So what would be the cost, for example, of shipping 1 ton of whatever fertilizer from China to Europe using break bulk?
Yes, it's a tough question, this one. We have to analyze it a bit. Let's see, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm trying now to bring back in my mind various freight rates that clients of ours have received from lessors. Right now, China, and I focus on China because we know that a lot of cargo is coming from there towards Europe, let's say. Of course, we can discuss other areas as well. It is 100 to 130, 110 to $130 per ton cargo coming with containers. While in bulk, now with two other options, let's say. We have an option actually, not doing break bulk as part cargo, but doing break bulk as sole cargo. So to find a vessel that will load from far away and coming to Europe. For some people, that might seem to be, let's say, weird, but be sure that there are small ships that they are trading to the other side of the world and they want to come back. For this reason, there are this kind of ships, and we are active on this field well. In this case, we have seen rates between 85 and 95. These rates are always freeing out. So from 110, 130 with the container, we're at 85, 95 as sole shipments. Then, in order to lower the freight, we have to do as part cargo to consolidate in bigger shipments. We have seen various rates, and the spectrum is not so narrow. We have seen from 50 up to, for instance, 80, for example, because it's really connected to the size of the ship, to the other cargoes on board. If by chance this vessel will load from the same port or will discharge at the same port, then of course we get a good rate. If not, then things are getting more complicated and more expensive, of course. This is it. This is how the rates work right now.
And what do you think is let's say the break even, if I can put it this way, for cost of containers that will make break bulk shipment not workable? So you mentioned what is the cost, for example, for now. So what would be that break even cost?
Yes, this is a bit dynamic, I would say, because all these markets, the shipping markets, are interconnected, and one is how to say, when the freight rates of containers they move down, they move down for a reason. Sometimes this is a crisis. Maybe the market is not so prosperous. These, let's say, regions affect also the bulk market, the multi-purpose market, the break bulk market. So when we see freight rates going down, in all sizes, freight rates will go down. This is that's why it's not so easy to reply on this. Also, we should not forget that 45 to 50% of the expenses of a ship is the fuel cost. So when the fuel prices are up, of course, it's more inelastic. All the system is more inelastic. This is the reason that you cannot get a very easy reply on it.
I see.
That's the reason.
I see. Thank you. Thank you, Alexandros. And now I would like to ask you, please tell me more about Agora. What you are doing, what is your focus? Of course, myself and our watchers understood already that you are an expert in break bulk shipments, but I guess that's not all. So please tell us more a bit.
Thank you very much. Our company is already 11 years in the market. We are 5 brokers in the office, and we are also ship owners. We are connected to a few handy-sized ships. From the beginning, we focused on specialization, and every person in the company is doing specific clientele, focusing on market, trying to preserve the status and to offer better service to the client, because at the end of the day, this is what matters: a good service. And the good service is not only and always the freight rate. That's many things in shipping, and shipping in bulk and break bulk in international shipping. The charter party, the contract, is very important. So we focus a lot in building the correct contract and taking care the aspects that a trader might not have seen from the beginning. So we communicate with the ports, we speak to the ship agents, we speak to the owners, we build up all the service that it will make the shipment go smoothly. Because at the end of the day, a trader wants to feel that everything goes smoothly. This is the most important. So you need to have knowledge of the market, knowledge of the contract, knowledge of the technical and the physical properties of the cargoes and the ships. This is, I think, our main, let's say, key point, and why we are still here and we succeed with international competition, of course, because shipping has international competition. I'm going to do this to ask me anything else. I'm for you.
Thank you very much, Alexandros, for this interesting and insightful discussion, and I'm sure very helpful for many of those guys who will watch us. And I would be very glad to host you again here in my channel. I wish you personally and Agora, of course, all the best. Thank you very much.
Maria, thank you too. You're doing a great job, and you should continue, because your work brings freshness and makes alive something that many people think it is not so lively, let's say. It's important to have interaction between the people, and to move by introducing new subjects and interesting subjects.
Thank you, Alexandros. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. As usually, I will leave all credentials of Alexandros and Agora Shipbroking Corporation in the comments. Please let me know in the comments which other questions related to break bulk shipping you would like to uncover, and I will be very glad to discuss them with Alexandros next time. Please subscribe to the channel, put like to this video, and see you soon.